Morning, December 9th, 2018. Today I want to talk a little bit about France and what's going on as far as the protests against the president, Emmanuel Macron. Before I say anything here, I think it's fair to say, really no American has a right to say anything about France. It's an independent country, and the French people have wonderful culture and wine. They even got cognac, which is remarkable. More than that, they have beautiful women like everywhere else on earth. That might be the best export from France. Nonetheless, what's going on over there? Well, French anarchy. The term anarchy, anarchists. French anarchists have existed since, the 1500s. Anarchists have existed all over Europe. Italy, Spain, fascists have tried to take over the government, sometimes succeeded. Although many people, like if you talk to about Benito Mussolini, the people who were there at the time actually loved Mussolini. They didn't really like his clothes. But he looked more like a sideshow at the circus. But they did like the government. It was all that just he got hooked up with Hitler, and it became even more weird fascist under it with nationalism combined. And nonetheless, the people who are protesting in France have a very good reason to protest. Livable wage is not a thing in France any more than it is in the United States. There are a lot of jobs. There are more jobs now than ever before, but people are not making a livable wage. Raising the minimum wage is not the solution here. People in business have to get smarter so they make more money so they can pay their people more. They got to take a cut on their own income, which is probably never going to happen. That'd be like telling a politician to put term limits on themselves. They'll never do that. Nonetheless, maybe Nancy Pelosi can vote them in on herself like today. You're out of here, Nancy. The reality is the people in France, they're referring to them as the yellow vest movement. The yellow vest is what you carry in your car in France. It's a law. If your car breaks down or you get in an accident, God forbid, you put the vest on so you're not walking around out there. Hopefully you won't get run over. Just like the police wear, construction workers, emergency personnel, etc. Nonetheless, so the yellow vest movement in France is protesting outlandish prices. A gallon of milk's 15 to 20 bucks US. It's insane. So they're protesting cost of living overall. This has been going on for a while now. It has been serious since spring. April and May is when this lit up. But it was lit up before this. President Macron has put himself in the palace. Almost, they say he's like hiding in there. A big part of this goes to the united idea of, one world order of the European Union. Macron got out of the palace and went to EU meetings, European Union meetings last week, trying to smooth people up, is what it sounded like, and it didn't work so well. A few people even called him out. But what's setting the people off even more in France right now is Macron wants to put a gas tax on it. It will be starting the first of the year, on top of all the other inflation and the unlivable conditions and all these things going on in France. So yesterday there were protests in Paris and Nice and every other Cologne, every city that matters. Over close to 100,000 police officers were dispersed around the country because of this, more than normal. And the yellow vest, there are subdivisions. There's like a free yellow vest that seem a little more logical, rational. And then there's the anarchist yellow vests who are more like Antifa, anti-fascist, pro-communist, this bizarre thinking that somebody else dreamed up that people suddenly believe, oh, that's right. I couldn't think of anything on my own, but I love this theory. I'm going to live by it without even thinking it through. Capitalism is a scary thing in itself, but we have to do it. We have to trust. We have to do what we do. But what's going on in France right now is a prime example that reality as a human being gets shattered if you can't afford food, if you can't afford gas, if you can't afford to live. And they got an elitist president, Macron, who caters to the elite, who caters to the wealthy, and cuts everybody else out. He's distant as a person. He was a banker. Bean counter. Scary part. They're always honest until it's somebody else's money. Reality becomes it. Protesting is necessary. It has to occur. You want nonviolent protests, though, and unfortunately that isn't what's happening in France right now. But nonetheless, the people have a right. And when you make it hard on people to live, and it goes on, and they see no future, they will protest and speak out and take drastic action at times. America could learn a lesson that Europe has already learned, with every bank in Europe going bankrupt in the last 10 to 15 years. I mean, Germany, some of them went bankrupt 3 times. I think Greece went bankrupt 3 different times when it started. So America could take a lesson here. Protesting is necessary. You don't want to destroy everything in sight, though, or each other, or humans in the process. But more than that, when things get out of control, people act and react. And that's one thing we really don't need in America. Just make sure we hope we keep a level head. And don't take care of one group over the other. Try to take care of everybody. And mean it. Don't just say it. Have a good day, y'all. Peace. Happy Sunday.